Jurassic World Rebirth is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Universal. It can be found as the slipcover and a non-exclusive steelbook, both available at your local and online retailers. One of the things I like about the Jurassic films are, of course, that they at least attempt to have dinosaurs that actually existed. In Rebirth, that mostly goes out the window in favor of mutant creations, which to me kind of changes the spirit of what these are supposed to be. The characters are also pretty one-note, not much in the way of growth or even meaningful arcs. As a whole, this is probably the most superficial of the series. Jurassic World Rebirth on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has an aspect ratio of 239:1. It was finished at a 4K digital intermediate, and it supports both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. For a complete list of the equipment I use for these reviews, please check the video description. It goes without saying, for a modern 2025 movie, the source is exceptionally clean and presented with no issues from start to finish. Since the movie was shot on film, a fine layer of film grain is present, but is never obtrusive during the runtime. As for the level of detail, it does a very solid job of showcasing textures very well. Close-ups of live-action elements, such as people or foliage, stand out nicely with more than appreciable depth. Even some of the dinos look good up close, but in some faraway shots, the obvious CGI doesn't quite hold up to their live-action counterparts. As for the overall visual look of the film, I can't say I'm at all impressed. Quite frankly, modern Hollywood is, for better or for worse, not taking into account the use of HDR, as movie theaters generally aren't able to display it. Fast forward to the home release, the application of HDR and Dolby Vision isn't very useful, and for this film, it isn't graded as such. Here we are given a blanket sunglass mode that honestly it's ugly, at least in my opinion. What's worse is that in the bonus section, they show clips from the exact same movie, but with a brighter and more colorful grading. You could certainly argue that what we see on the 4K may in fact be quote-unquote creator intent, as Gareth Edwards does seem to favor this look overall. Just check out the creator. I really wish that what I saw on screen featured in the bonus content was with the finished film, and in my opinion, this would have been a demo-worthy looking picture. But as is, I'm just not a fan. Specular highlights barely even show nits reaching the low 300s, so you can imagine what the rest of the film is. On my calibrated LG G4, I typically watch in filmmaker mode, so I did switch it up to the basic standard. It wasn't much brighter. I even played the film on my projector using Dolby Vision Bright. It still appeared gloomy visually. I realize I may be the minority opinion here, but I just don't think the 4K looks appealing whatsoever. In the comments section, I'm going to link to a video done by FOMO that further explains this troubling trend, but for Jurassic World Rebirth, it's definitely an issue. Jurassic World Rebirth on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray supports a Dolby Atmos audio mix, which folds down to a Dolby True HD 7.1. There are also international options available. Now that we are in the audio section, you may be thinking my rant about the 4K is over, but it's going to extend just slightly into the audio side of things. A more problem that seems to be plaguing modern Hollywood, and I've definitely discussed this ad nauseum, is the somewhat nerfing of general sound design, especially when it comes to sequels of movies that came out almost decades earlier. I'm not going to say that Jurassic World Rebirth's Atmos is necessarily a bad one, but there are certain choices throughout the film that, when matched up with the original Jurassic Park, doesn't sound nearly as good in some cases. First and foremost is the T-Rex sequence in this particular film, which, if you match it with the original movie scene, it's not nearly as robust or impactful. Make no mistake, you're still getting a good bit of energy, but it doesn't feel nearly as pronounced as Park's version. Bass here is just lacking. General dynamic activity, however, is fairly active and often engaging. High channels are consistently active and offer some good immersive elements throughout. Mid-level and rear output is similarly entertaining and often puts you right into the middle of the action. Dialogue reproduction is clean from start to finish, and I didn't notice any issues throughout the runtime. Once again, the LFE is sadly a bit of a letdown, and I didn't even get close to a window rattle or any meaningful vibration, even during the more chaotic moments. It's not all doom and gloom with this 4K, as for Supplements fans, there is a lot to enjoy here, and I'm glad to see some meaningful extras included. There are some deleted scenes and alternate opening, but for me, the real meat and potatoes is the making of, which is divided up into several chapters. One piece of content that I particularly enjoyed, and is somewhat of an irony, was A Day at Skywalker Sound, which makes my impressions of the sound design even more disappointing. There are also additional extras and some audio commentaries included with this release. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Jurassic World Rebirth on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray a C. Obviously, I'm not a fan with how this transfer ended up looking on 4K, especially with the addition of Dolby Vision, but for some, they may still enjoy it. I will say that textures in regard to close-ups look really good, and I do appreciate a movie that is shot on film in today's Hollywood. For the audio, I scored it a B+. This easily could have been a demo disc for 2025, but something got in the way from a creative standpoint, and it's just a shame that in some circumstances, it can't even match the original film from 1993. It's an average track, just not a particularly memorable one. For the extras, I scored them an A-. I think if you're a fan of bonus materials, you will no doubt enjoy with what's presented on the disc. There are a lot of different options to choose from, and there is some good substance with what is offered. So that is my review of Jurassic World Rebirth on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray from Universal. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave a direct link in the comment section. But if you have the disc already, let me know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.